Hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Sorry I'm late by what, like 5 minutes? Hello. How are you guys doing? Well, I hope. Okay, so this is episode 3 of my in real life series. And today I want to talk about knowing what to ignore. Knowing what to ignore. Everything doesn't need a reaction. Some things we just need to take with a grain of salt. Some things we don't need to take at all because it just doesn't apply. And we just have to have the ability to know what to take from what is being said or done and what to leave right there. So that's what I want to talk about today. And hopefully all of you have been having a good day. It's Wednesday. Duh. We're halfway there. Wherever there is, we are halfway there. So let's get started. Hold on. Okay, yes, let's get started. Where we at? Here we are. Excuse me. It says the art of knowing is knowing what to ignore. And that is a profound insight often attributed to the 13th century Persian poet and mystic Rumi. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he is a 13th century Persian poet and mystic. Okay? It suggests that true wisdom does not come from accumulating endless facts, but from discernment. The ability to filter out noise, distractions, and trivia to focus on what truly matters. Okay? The ability to filter out noise, distractions, and trivia to focus on what truly matters. Okay? Because a lot of times we as a whole, myself included, we hyper focus on things and people who, in the larger scheme of things, really don't matter. So it says key perspectives on knowing what to ignore. Psychological wisdom. American psychologist William James expressed a similar sentiment. The art of being wise is the art, of knowing what to overlook. He argued that because our attention is finite, overlooking non-essential details is crucial for mental clarity and achieving significant goals. The art of being wise is the art of knowing what to overlook. Because our attention is finite, overlooking non-essential details is crucial for mental clarity and achieving significant goals. I'd say I'd have to agree with that. I'd say, let me see. Hey, SBK, good afternoon. Hey, Uncle L, good afternoon. I hope you guys are doing well. Okay. So that's the first one they gave us was psychological. Probably saying that word wrong, but whatevs, wisdom. The second one is emotional intelligence. And we're just going over key perspectives on knowing what to ignore. Okay. So the second one is emotional intelligence. In modern context, this skill is linked to emotional intelligence. It involves letting go of petty arguments, unsolicited criticism we didn't ask for, and negative self-talk to preserve inner peace and focus on constructive relationships. That's important. I'm going to read that again. In modern context, this skill is linked to emotional intelligence, EI for short. It involves letting go of petty arguments, unsolicited criticism, and negative self-talk to preserve inner peace and focus on constructive relationships. Let's touch on this for a bit. First one, petty arguments. Petty arguments. Hey, Rachel, good afternoon. When y'all think of petty arguments, and how you doing? Well, I hope. When you guys think of petty arguments, someone can give me an example of what comes to your mind when you think of that, or when you hear those words, petty arguments. As I'm sitting here trying to think of like an example off the dome real quick. Hey, CP3, what's up, Broham? Like, okay, let's see. Say if you and your friend group, y'all are supposed to go somewheres, right? And y'all are supposed to meet up somewhere at 2:00. Y'all said, okay, everybody, we're gonna meet at this place at 2:00. Okay. Let's say it's 4 of y'all. Out of the 4 of y'all, one person, they show up at 2:15, 2:15, right? Is that something to start a full-fledged argument about? Although you all agreed to be there at 2:00, and this person being 15 minutes late didn't shake or break anything, is it necessary for the rest of the friend group, or for you, or for somebody else to take it upon themselves to make it a big deal? That's just the example I came up with. If y'all have another example of like a petty argument, you can put it in the chat if you feel like it. Rachel said, is it really going to change your life? Right. Like, is it going to change your life? Is it altering anything for you for that day, for that moment? Or is it just really a slight inconvenience at that? Okay. Let's see. To involves letting go of petty arguments. Like, that's something you can let go. You don't have to have a full argument about something like that. Now, if you want to address it later on, especially if this person is habitually late, whatever, but you don't need to interrupt the goings on of what y'all got going on for that. It says involves letting go of petty arguments. Just touched on that lightly. Unsolicited criticism. Criticism we didn't we didn't ask for. And mind you, we're going over key perspectives on knowing what to ignore. Okay? And right now we're talking about emotional intelligence. And it says it involves letting go of petty arguments, which we talked about real quick. And now we're talking about letting go of unsolicited criticism. Okay? And this all circles back to knowing what to ignore. Because a lot of times there's people, even if, there's not a lot of people, but there's always going to be somebody that is going to feel the need to give you some type of criticism that, like you just said, is unsolicited. You didn't ask for. It may not even be warranted. They just felt the need to share with you their criticism of you or what you got going on. And I'm really big on taking heed, not offense, but I'm also really big on like the context of it too, and knowing who it is. Like, you have to know who it is that is giving this criticism to you. You know what I mean? You have to know who they are, know their intentions for you, how they are coming. If they are just saying this just to have something to say, and you also have to know you and be self-aware within yourself to know, like, okay, is there any validity to this? Is this valid? He said no. Things happen. Things happen as far as what? Oh, as far as like the being late and whatnot. Yeah. And if it's something that really like absolutely bothers you, you don't have to bring it up right then and there. You can touch on it later if you want to. Everybody's grown. Not you, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah, unsolicited criticism. Yeah, I feel like that is very important when it when it comes to having the ability to properly accept constructive criticism, because you're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem. Like, so if someone is giving you constructive criticism, you have to have the ability to take from it what needs to be taken. Now, I can understand how annoying it can be if somebody just come out the woodwork and just gets like criticizing what you got going on, especially if y'all don't even have that type of rapport. Like, I didn't ask you what you thought about anything. It's not a job title or position that you hold where it's your job to just drop down and just start telling me what you feel about what I got going on or what I'm doing. But when you cling on to that, that can be unhealthy. That can really be unhealthy, especially if you are a reactionary person. At least that's what I take from that when I hear letting go of unsolicited criticism. What do y'all take from that when you hear those words? Unsolicited criticism that you did not ask for or that you did not seek out. And I appreciate those of you that choose to be in here, because I know there's other people that are live right now. And there's just other things in general one can be doing with their time. So I do appreciate those of you that decided to spend some of your time with me. Rachel, you said if you're in my inner circle, yes, but if you don't know me, no. Capital no. I agree because it's a lot of times it's very easy to make assessments and judgments and have opinions on situations that we are not fully privy to and we're just on the outside looking in, you know? And I know we're all guilty of that at times. So I try to just take stuff for what it is, as far as if I'm on the outside looking in from something, and try not to really dig too deep into it because you never really know. Hold on. You never really know what it is or what someone got going on with them. But yeah, if somebody is in your inner circle and they genuinely care for you and you know they have good intentions for you and towards you, and it don't mean you no harm, no ill will, it's a little easier to be able to take what it is that they're saying. And even then, you know, so I think it's important to reflect and receive clarity and try to be as self-aware, excuse me, as possible, because then you already know fully what you got going on while still being open, to what somebody else is saying. It's not easy. And to a certain extent, I really do feel like delivery matters. Not that you should sugarcoat anything, you know what I mean? But a lot of times, when people feel like they're attacked, they shut down. And then once somebody shuts down, even if what you're saying is valid, they're not going to be able to absorb it and take it in properly the way it needs to. So then your point becomes mute. I believe my inner circle has my best interest. Yeah, and that's a blessing. And if you know that and you believe that, just anybody in general, then you should know that they're not going to be telling you anything just to have something negative to say or something to say. And then on the flip side about that, you know that they're not going to just tell you what you want to hear just to appease you, because don't nobody need that either, especially if they're not all vague with their criticism. They're very clear. And then if you're not sure about what it is they're saying or trying to say or how they're coming or whatever the case may be, the onus is on you to say, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Those type of things, and have the conversation. But if you know somebody don't mean you no good and they don't particularly care for you, or like you said, Rachel, they don't know you from a can of paint and they're just saying some ish, I don't find it necessary to cling to that. Now, like I said, when you're a self-aware person, you'll know if there's parts of that you need to cling to, and you know what the other parts, the other parts are bullcrap. So you leave that where it stands. It involves letting go of petty arguments, unsolicited criticism. We just talked about the both of them. and negative self-talk, excuse me, to preserve inner peace and focus on constructive relationships. Let's touch on that. And right now, we're going over key perspectives on knowing what to ignore. We're in the emotional intelligence lane right now. And now we're about to talk about letting go of negative self-talk to preserve inner peace and focus on constructive relationships. I don't know if any of you, whether it's knowingly, unknowingly, engage in negative self-talk with yourself. But we could talk about that real quick. Because what I've learned is that is very counterproductive. The same with people who will bust or crack jokes on themselves or will laugh when someone is busting or cracking a joke on them, but it really does bother them, but they laugh it off anyway. So hold on. Okay. Hey, Thick Cut, good afternoon. Super Saiyan V. Okay. Don't get hit with that. What they call it? The Kamea. That's a question to ask. I'm gonna ask that in my on my wall. Cause how many Dragon Balls is it? Is it 7 or 9? I know it's an odd number, if I'm not mistaken. And how many wishes is it? Is it 1 wish? How many wishes? You get to ask the dragon once you collect all of them. Because if I'm not mistaken, it's a wish to be made, right? It's not some sort of unlocking of extra powers. My memory serves me right. They cut after they get all the Dragon Balls, they get a wish, right? And is it 7 or 9 Dragon Balls? I believe it's one of the two. I could be wrong. Let me know. And how are you doing? Well, I hope. What did you say? You said negative speech can cause you health problems. Actually, I can imagine, especially if it's if you done made that a part of your routine. Like I said, whether it's knowingly or unknowingly, and whether it's something that you voice to others out loud, or is it on some like internal ish? Always speaking or thinking negatively can definitely put a toll on your health. Hold on. And I don't know, to be honest. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm gonna have to be on my Patty LaBelle and look that up on my I'll look that up. And I'm gonna ask that question. If I'm correct, I'm gonna ask that question on my wall. What would be the wish that you guys would ask the daggone dragon to grant you once you done got all the Dragon Balls? Hypothetically, of course, because that's not a thing. But I'm interested to know. How about that? Hey, kiss my cheeks. Why not? What do you mean, honey? What do you mean? And thank you for coming. And I hope you're having the best of best days and then some more. How about that? Okay, let me see. Yes, people can be their own worst enemy. Really, really, Rachel. And like I said, that's whether that's knowingly or unknowingly. So it says, support, support. Did you hear about that experiment where this guy tested sound frequency using his voice and 3 bowls of rice to see the outcome? Speaking negatively to one, positively to the other, and ignoring one. Now you done got me intrigued. Her did? Huh? I don't know what's going on. Okay, cool beans. I'm in y'all business. Duh. All right, so yeah, whether that's knowingly or unknowingly, I don't know if you guys engage in that or if you know people who engage in negative self-talk. And when you hear negative, the words negative self-talk, like what type of talk comes to your mind? Which sounds simple and silly, but let's run with it. Like, I don't like when I hear people call themselves stupid or dumb. You know what I mean? I don't like that. What else? I don't like to hear someone who may be rather large refer to themselves as fat. You know what I mean? I would rather them redirect that energy and just be like, I need to go to the gym. You know what I mean? I need to go for a walk. Stuff like that. That's not counterproductive because if you're rather large and you're overweight and you're referring to yourself as fat, what is that doing for you? What else? Maybe someone who is never timely, they're always late. Instead of them saying, oh, well, I'm late anyways, or whatever, you know what I mean? Just something productive. Do something productive. Find a way to flip it. I'm trying to give a good example. Lord have mercy. Okay, let me see. The one he said pleasant things to, the outcome was good tasting rice. The one he said negative things to turned to black. And the one he ignored rotted. That is so interesting. Thick cut. That is very interesting. I want to check that out. To rice. Huh. Said, girl, why would I? As you should be. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Okay. Y'all not working through nothing. Then I'm gonna to the power of frequency and vibration. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm gonna check that out. Definitely gonna check it. But yeah, I definitely don't think we should be engaging in negative self-talk. Kind of like curve that ish because sometimes, like I said, it's knowingly and unknowingly. Sometimes certain things just hit you, and it's like, nah, you gotta be able to be like, skirt. How about we not? And if this is something that is negative, but it needs to be handled, how about we figure out a way to handle it in the healthiest of ways, which is not always easy. He said, I'm about to get into some trouble. Trouble. You know, I gotta stop in for the crew. Loving the crew. I wish Lisa's here. Loving the crew. I'm hype. I'm hype. I'm hype. Yeah, talk later. Someone who always tries to be the center of attention. As far as what, Rachel? Someone who engages in negative self-talk. Think that could be like a attention-seeking tactic. From 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. Duh. Hold on. Because that may be a thing. There's people that do that too. Hold on. If that's what you feel like you need to do, girl, that's your business. Okay. Rachel, that could definitely be a thing. Especially if it's someone who engages in negative self-talk out loud or with others, and then they're given, solid advice and whatnot, but they don't do anything to better themselves or their situation. That may be an attention-seeking thing, if that's what you're saying. All right. These next couple parts, I'm just gonna kind of breeze through because I done got a little long-winded. All right, the next one is information management. In an age of information overload, authors like James Clear emphasize that focus is fundamentally about knowing what to ignore to prevent burnout and remain productive. Okay. Because you don't want to just take on everything. Some things are just not yours to take on. Okay. Um, this next one is the triple filter test. I like this. The triple filter test. It's a concept that suggests filtering information through three lenses. The first one is truth. Is it a fact? Is what this person saying a fact? Is there any legitimate see into it? You know what I mean? Is it a fact? The second one is goodness. Is it kind? You know, are they just trying to be nasty or ignorant? And the last one is usefulness. Is it helpful? Because like I said, you either part of the solution or you part of the problem. So I like that. The triple filter test when it comes to knowing what to ignore. Truth. Is it a fact? Goodness. Is it kind? And usefulness. Is it helpful? Okay. Let me see. And they gave us 3 practical benefits to knowing what to ignore. Conserve your energy, reduces stress, because stress is a killer, and it can help strengthen relationships. Okay. So I appreciate you guys joining me for episode 3 of my In Real Life series. And today, everyone, anybody can get blocked at any point in time. Vink. I have no problem doing that. I thank you guys for joining me for episode 3. where we discussed knowing what to ignore. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day and your evening, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Thank you. Bye.